All right, ladies and gentlemen, what is going on? Welcome back to the recap and breakdowns. We're taking a look at UFC Fight Night, Charles Olivera versus Mateusz Gamrot, which took place last Saturday, the 11th of October, 2025. It was a fantastic fight night. I did see the entire card. We will break it down right now, starting with the early prelims and ending with the main event. We're going to talk about it quick. We're going to try and get 3 videos done today, try and get some bets out for you guys for this week. And I will be changing my channel name to Bottom Feeder Bets instead of Bottom Feeder MMA. I think I'm going to turn this into a multi-viewing channel. I think I want it to be more, betting based more than just UFC. I want to try and get some predictions and stuff out there for you guys for more sports than just this, and we'll try and figure out if we're going to do that on a separate channel or all together. We'll check it out. Now we're going to move on to the prelim opener. That was Luan Lacerda versus Simon Oliveira. I did have Simon Oliveira plus 3.5. It felt like Luan Lacerda coming off a long time away. It was going to be a good way for Simon Oliveira to try and punch his way back into the UFC win column. Unfortunately, it did not go the way that we thought it was going to go. It wasn't going bad for Simon Oliveira. It just wasn't very good when he went to the ground. He wasn't really trying to get back up all too much, and he was allowing himself to sit there for quite a while. Luan Lacerda just eventually finding the arm bar late in round 2 after beating him up for a little while with some ground and pound. Simon Oliveira definitely not getting re-signed by the UFC. Luan Lacerda very impressive after 2 years away. Still pretty nasty on the ground, but looks like he's improved quite a lot because Damon Blackshear was really ragdolling that guy on the ground. And he eventually gassed, and Simon Oliveira could not get Luan to gas whatsoever. Lacerda clearly has worked on his cardio and is going to be a little bit more dangerous at 135 than I thought he was going to be. And also, Simon Oliveira missed weight by 9 pounds. This guy still looked like shit. Hopefully, we do not see him again because I really don't want to. Now, next on the prelims, we had Julia Pelostri versus Karolina Kowalkiewicz. I believe that's how you say that, Kowalkiewicz. Now, unfortunately, Karolina did not stand a chance. I thought genuinely plus 3.5 was going to be good enough, meaning that she could lose a round. Plus 7.5 was offered on DraftKings, and that was clearly a bait. Julia Pelostri on the feet, significantly faster than anything Karolina could throw out. Kowalkiewicz was getting really, really down and dirty in that second and third round. She was really taking some chances. She was winning that third round as well. Julia Pelostri looking like she gassed after just beating the hell out of her in rounds 2. But you had Karolina just still leave her hands down. She was just kind of looking for a brawl. Ended up getting caught with a head kick and just put away with some nasty, nasty punches against the cage. Mark Goddard did have to step in. I was looking at who the ref was. It was Mark Goddard. Ended up stepping in, stopping the fight. I really feel bad. Babushka here, Kowalkiewicz, just getting absolutely nuked, dude. I really feel bad for her because she's an absolute veteran of the UFC. She's been in here for a while. She was in Invicta back in the day, right before the merger, and that's crazy to me. This girl deserved a lot, and she deserved a lot more than that, and that was the way she went out. That's all. That's a terrible look by the UFC, honestly. I don't know if Julia Pelostri is going to get given a bad fight next, but a girl who literally has beaten Corey McKenna out of everyone, that's pretty sad to give her just a girl who's on her way out. I would have liked to see Kowalkiewicz, lifted off with easier fight than that. It is what it is. UFC is king. Julia Pelostri ends it with a highlight reel knockout. Next on the prelims, we had Lucas Holsha versus Stuart Nicole. Now, as soon as this fight started, I knew I made the wrong pick. I went with Stuart Nicole, and I think I went with Stuart Nicole because Lucas Holsha looked so bad on the ground that I genuinely couldn't watch. He had a big problem against, was it Clayton Carpenter? It was Clayton Carpenter where he just could not get up, and I had him for that fight as well. Inside the first round, he seemed as though he wasn't going to have any success whatsoever, and then going into the second round, he just got ragdolled by Carpenter right back to the ground, and immediately got back to a position where he was getting choked and he had to tap. I believe he went out as well. But Stuart Nicole here, really, really good on the ground, really good with the mix-up capabilities, and he was one of those guys that was actually highlighted coming into the UFC. Everyone thought he was going to put Jesus Aguilera away. I had Jesus for that fight. I thought he was going to submit him, and that's exactly what happened. Stewart just kind of walked into a guillotine choke, didn't get out of it. But here, Lucas Hosha, Stuart Nicole, when he takes him down, moves immediately to side control, and he looks really, really good on the ground. And it gave me a little bit of a confusion on why Stuart Nicole is not just forcing takedowns more often. This guy was just willing to stand and strike with Lucas Hosha, who's got 20 fights, a bunch of them coming out of, LFA. Like, he has some Contender Series stuff, like Big Shot, which isn't that bad. Like, he's still moving around. It's not like he's sitting in one promotion just absolutely eating fucking cans and just feeding off of them. He's fighting good guys. The knockout of Davey Bittencourt is huge. I just did not think he was going to have a big time with Stuart Nicole in his wrestling. And Nicole, who's literally an Olympic level wrestler, just didn't do shit. I was really disappointed. Lucas Hosha ends up winning, and it is what it is. But we move on next in the prelims. Bia Mesquita versus Irina Alekseeva. Now, this is one of the most impressive girls I've ever seen make a debut inside of the UFC. Bia Mesquita makes her debut in Brazil. She's fighting out of Florida, Coconut Creek. She's fighting with American Top Team, and they have clearly made this girl a fucking machine, because I don't know what the hell I was watching and said that. She got a 10-8 or 10-7 round against Irina Alekseeva, who actually is half decent on the ground and has a half a brain when it comes to fighting. She looked like ass against Claudia Segula. She didn't look like she had any stand-up. This was not a stand-up fight. Irina actually looked half decent in the stand-up, and Bia got her ass right to the ground and started mauling her. Irina Alekseeva, I have no clue how she did not get out of that first round. I have no idea how she did not tap, because she was eating some crazy shots to the face with no way out, and the ref just let it happen. Goddard did not step in. There was no way out for Irina Alekseeva, and she was just eating very devastating shots, and there was no look of a stoppage. And then we go into round 2, and she just gets absolutely fucking mauled right away, right to a rear naked choke, and the under 1.5 somehow still hit. You had Bia Mesquita with one of the most impressive UFC debuts I've ever seen. She wins the performance of the night, gets 50K down, and wins that, whatever. It's probably 10K to show, 10K to win. But this girl's nasty. She's got really good grappling. She did ADCC Worlds. She's got, crazy. They call her the GOAT of women's BJJ. She's fucking insane, and I'm excited to have her inside the UFC. Next in the prelims, we had Vitor Petrino versus Thomas Peterson. And this fight should have ended way earlier. Inside the first round, Vitor Petrino landing some pretty devastating shots, and Thomas Peterson I think he dropped him once and was just kind of looking for the kill shot a little bit too much, in my opinion. He was still winning the rounds, but he wasn't looking for the finish like he could have earlier. Inside's round 2 and 3, get a little bit more of the same thing, but in round 2, he looked like ass. It looked like either Vitor Petrino took that round off or something's really wrong, because that guy's cardio looked absolutely horrendous. He clearly is not working on that whatsoever when it comes to 250 in terms of weight. This guy does not look good whatsoever. He cannot go 5 rounds. This is not championship material here. This guy's still a bum. And you have Thomas Peterson, who, again, I don't mind Thomas, actually. Genuinely, as a fighter, I thought he was going to beat Shamil Gaziev. I'm not going to lie to you right now. I'm going to be 100% honest. I thought he was the guy that was going to fucking fraud check Gaziev. Unfortunately, it was Jairzinho Rosenstrike, but I seriously thought he was in big shit when he was fighting Thomas Peterson, because Peterson has really good wrestling. If he gets you to the ground, he will beat the shit out of you, and there's nothing you can do. You will sit there and you will take it. And unfortunately, did not happen inside this fight. He could not get close enough to Petrino. I think he was really worried about the power. It is what it is. I had Petrino to win by knockout. Ends up in the third round, in the first 20 seconds, clips him with a nasty fucking uppercut coming in, and then hits him with a right hand on the temple going down. Thomason's out face first on the canvas. And it's a good win for Vitor Petrino. At least he gets a little bit of work at heavyweight. After the Austin Lane win, which was absolutely atrocious. I don't want to see him at heavyweight. I want to see this guy at light heavyweight. I get Dustin Jacoby hit you with one right hand, but I don't think the weight is the problem. I get maybe he wants to fight the lower talent pool at 265, but you have to understand there is only 30 guys. Like, as soon as you beat one shitter, you're fighting someone that you don't want to fight. And Vitor Petrino is he just fought Austin Lane, and then they gave him Thomas Peterson. He's getting someone he don't want next, and he's going to get knocked out. Probably, actually, you know what? Shamil Gaziev might be a good fight for Vitor Petrino. if he loses this next fight. What's his next fight here? Sergey Spivak. Okay, so whoever loses this fight, if Shamil Gaziev wins, I guess I'm going with Spivak to fight Vitor Petrino, because I think that'd be a good fight anyway. All right, here we go. Next on the prelims. I gotta clear the throat here somehow. Rafael Filo versus Clayton Carpenter. This was just a mauling by Rafael Filo. This is exactly what I wanted to see by him. The clear, superior grappling. And the fact that Clayton Carpenter really does not have a whole lot of high-level experience. Unfortunately, this is a position where Clayton Carpenter was either going to shine in the fire or he was going to melt and burn very quickly, and this is exactly what happened. This was not a fight that was going to go distance. So this is either Clayton Carpenter was going to show up and show out on Filo, or Filo was going to take over the fight, and there was a way higher chance of Filo just really taking control, and that's exactly what happened. You had Clayton Carpenter not really know what to do. He was a little bit overwhelmed from what it seemed with Brazil's chance and shit. He looked a little bit nervous. He took some shots well. They traded back and forth, eventually ended up on the ground in the scrambles, and you don't want to be in the scrambles with Rafael Filo. This guy's got majority of his wins by back control and rear naked chokes and stuff like that. He wins those scrambles all the time. You got to stay away from that. You got to stay away from the ground and stay up. Carpenter does not have that type of style. He has more of get it to the ground and get dirty. That's understandable, but you gotta try and improve those areas, especially when you're such a good grappler. It's time to maybe work on just the striking for a little bit, maybe take 6 months, go to Thailand or something, because if you're fighting a guy like Rafael Filo, you need to force him on the feet, and Clayton Carpenter does have the ability to not get taken down. He just initiated scrambles that you don't want to initiate. This is not a guy, and when you fight guys that are good submission artists like that, like if you're fighting Ryan Hall, are you really going to try and fucking wrestle a guy? Like, stay away from that dude. You don't want to touch that guy. Rafael Filo ends up with a Kimura. Carpenter really sat in it for a while, too. He was grimacing for a while. He did not want to tap. I think it was getting to a point where his arm was about to snap, and Rafael was being very, very generous. He was actually, like, from what I was watching, he wasn't just ripping on it. He was being pretty nice. It was deep. It was in. There was no way he was getting out of it, and Carpenter eventually did give up with the tap, and it's a good win for Rafael Filo. Now, this is a red flag on the next fight. If you guys are betting, if you guys are looking at something, make sure you check the day before and you don't bet too early. This was a big fight for me that I had a big problem with, and this is next on the prelims. Michael Aswell versus Lucas Almeida. Now, I did not hear about this until the day of. Michael Aswell, I picked to win, I think, and that was due to a rumor of a broken hand. At weigh-ins on Thursday, Lucas Almeida had a clear broken hand, right hand. Going into the fight, Lucas Almeida did not move his right hand at all in the pre-fight. I put, I think $50 it was on Michael Aswell to win by knockout under 1.5 rounds. Lucas Almeida started the fight and did not use the right hand one time. He used lefts and he tried to use his kicks, and he immediately got knocked out. He got knocked out in the first round, a minute and 40 in. This is not a fight that I would put on Michael Aswell's record. This is not a fight I would indict of anything that Michael Aswell has improved. He looked good in his striking. He always has. He is very good boxing. This is not a fight I'm going to talk about because this is a very, very clear fight that should not have happened. Lucas Almeida clearly needed the money really bad because he should not have gone into that fight with a broken hand that he probably sustained only a couple weeks ago. And he's a very, very good boxer himself. Clearly something's going on, and clearly the UFC is going to have a big problem with that because they gave him a shit show. But it was a highlight reel knockout, and he was willing to go in there and get knocked out. I hope they give him a contract for it. I think he's up on his time. But again, whoop-de-fucking-do for Michael Aswell. And they didn't even give him a performance of the night bonus for a quick knockout like that because they know that his hand was broken. Next, starting off the main card, again, if you're starting off the main card, they're looking for a highlight reel, and this is highlight reel Con Ofli versus Ricardo Ramos. I went against what I was thinking earlier in the week, and I know I said it in the video. I said I switched my pick from Con Ofli to Ricardo Ramos. I made a mistake. Con Ofli was a superior grappler. Ricardo Ramos was just a fan favorite. I am wrong, okay? Ricardo Ramos looked like shit. His grappling is terrible. Everything he does is bad. Josh Kulabau's split decision. I even said Josh might have won that fight, and I neglected to. I neglected to pick Con Ofli. I got a little scared on day. I lost a bit of my bets, and I was thinking otherwise. I started switching on my picks, got a little bit nervous, and there you go. That's what happens. Con Ofli ends up winning via submission early. That's kind of what I predicted as well, because Hikaru Ramos kind of just fucking allows guys to jump on him. And Ofli gets a really, really good standings. Rear naked choke, literally hangs off the back of Ramos for 2 minutes. Ramos doesn't even try to scrape him off, just sits there and eventually just gets submitted. Looks like complete shit. Hopefully never gets signed again, and Con Ofli moves on at 145 as one of those Australian prospects that actually looks like a fucking beast. He looks decent. He looks like he's actually going to be good. He has good conditioning. He has solid cardio. I'm excited to see what he's got, because this guy can take punches and he's got some fucking heat behind him. I just want to see him fight a little bit higher level talent than Hikaru Ramos. That made me want to slam my head into a fucking brick wall. Now, next on the main card, you had Mario Pinto versus Jonathan Denis. This is not where I thought this fight was going to go. I had Jonathan Denis. I thought the leg kicks was going to play a big part. I thought Mario Pinto was going to stay at range and try and use his big frame. Jonathan Denis is a very, very good glory kickboxer. Clearly not made for MMA. This guy has no grappling whatsoever. He got out of it a couple times, but on the ground, a blue belt. Not good enough for Mario Pinto and his black belt, or brown belt, excuse me, now. He absolutely rolled over Jonathan Denis. That finish of Jonathan Denis is something that heavyweights need to look out for. This guy looked like Gelton Almeida on the ground. Mauled the fuck out of Denis, a guy who does not have very good wrestling, but still mauled him. Just mauled him. He did not lose any second of the fight. Looked really good the whole time. Every time that he felt like he needed to get it to the ground, guess what? He got that shit to the ground. He forced it. He did not allow Denis to sit in his realm. He forced the fight where he wanted the fight to be, and that's something you really need to look out for prospects with, because these are guys that have very, very high level fight IQ. And Mario Pinto, a guy who's completely English, by the way. He's Portuguese, but he speaks English. Going to be a high talent, a high superstar. He's gonna have the words. He's gonna have the shit talking, and he's a heavyweight. He's gonna be trying to make his way up to that 265 ladder. Let me tell you, he's moving quick. KO from full mount on Jonathan Denis. That's sending fucking messages across the waves. A very good win for Mario Pinto, and that's a guy right now. Look out, put him in your notebooks if you have notebooks. Mario Pinto's gonna be something else in the next couple of years, maybe even next year. Next on the main card, this is probably one of the biggest riggings I've ever seen by Vegas. Or this is just Joel Alvarez feeling really fucking terrible. Joel Alvarez versus Vicente Luque. And this fight went to a 3-round decision somehow. And there's not really a whole lot to talk about. Vicente Luque got his ass whooped. Joel Alvarez took him down multiple times. Beat the fuck out of him from full mount. Side control. Full guard. Elbows. Got a crucifix at one point, but knee on arm. Boom, boom, boom. Luque never gave up. The ref never stepped in. I think one time I heard you need to move. He moved. It's a terrible thing to watch. A guy like that who suffered a brain bleed after a fight. A guy like that who has had, some crazy, adversity in his life. And to go like that against just say yes to Joel Alvarez, that's fucking insane. He got his ass whooped for 15 minutes. Joel Alvarez looked like he just walked in, and Vicente Luque had a mushed up face. It was a really depressing fight to watch. The third round was very uneventful. Joel Alvarez was literally giving Vicente Luque honor at that point. He just wasn't hitting him anymore. He just wasn't trying to finish him. You could tell. He really was just trying to get out of there. And he was holding Vicente Luque in a reverse triangle for 3 minutes, just giving this guy fucking air. Joel Alvarez, nice guy for that, but you fucked up my parlay. A good win for Joel Alvarez. Should have finished him. And let me tell you, his next fight, he will finish him. That was his first decision win ever in his career. A very, very shocking turn of events. I'm not going to lie to you, because he should have finished that fight. Next on the co-main event of the evening, Davison Figueiredo versus Montel Jackson. Now, I actually picked Figgy this week. I did change my bet to Montel Jackson last second, being that Montel Jackson was literally Olympic level wrestling before they got rid of the Olympics, with wrestling, excuse me. And I should not have switched. I should have picked Davison Figueiredo plus 3.5, which is my original pick. It was still plus money. And I still, listen, even though I would have switched to Figueiredo, I still feel like Montel Jackson won this fight. Now, people are telling me otherwise. People are telling me that Davison clearly won this fight, should have been unanimous. I beg to differ. Inside that second round, the first, minute or two, Davy has control. Sure, whatever. And then they get up to their feet, and what happens? Okay, well, Montel lands a little bit. Figgy lands a little bit. Oh, and then Montel lands 10 more than Figgy does in that round and hits him hard, too. Like, Figgy's backing up the whole time. And he's backing, and Montel's pushing the pressure for 3 minutes. Okay, I would have given that round to Jackson. I had it 1-1 going into the third round. Live odds had it otherwise, but okay. I had it 1-1. I thought Montel did more damage. Montel had nothing on his face, and Davey was bleeding from the nose, had a cut. Okay, going into the third round. I don't know. You guys always talk about damage. Sure, that's number one criteria. Okay, then you got to give it to Jackson. You go into that third round. Montel Jackson did not lose that third round. He did not lose that third round. And if you think he lost that third round, you are brain dead. You don't know what you're watching. He beat the fuck out of Figgy in that round. And I thought Montel Jackson won 3-2. I thought he won both those rounds. I think the judge that gave it to Jackson gave him 1-3, which is fucking wild, by the way. That's insane. 1-3 is crazy. 2-3 makes more sense. 1-3 is nuts because Montel got controlled that whole fucking round. I don't know. I guess it's in Brazil. I should have known it's going to be rigged. But still, Montel Jackson, in my opinion, won that fight. It's a good win for Figgy. Maybe a little bit of, a confidence booster. But who are you going to fight, man? Now you're just going to lose. Whoever you're fighting next, you're not beating. That moves on to the main event of the evening. Now, this is on absolute mauling and an absolute fucking calling from the Bronx. Okay? Charles Olivera looked like a fucking beast. Okay? Charles Olivera versus Mateusz Gamrot. That was a main event that was worth it. Okay? Bronx mauling the shit out of Gamrot. Okay? Mauling. There is nothing Gamrot could do for the jiu-jitsu level of Charles Olivera. Eventually, it was coming. You could see the submission was coming just from the first round. He almost got the choke. Eventually, inside the second round, did end up with a rear naked choke. Gamrot had to tap. The body triangle of Charles Olivera is extremely strong. The power of Charles Olivera. Like, listen, the people who are picking Gamrot here, you have to understand, there is no high one-punch knockout power from Gamrot. It does not exist. He doesn't have it, and unfortunately, it's never going to be there. And Charles Olivera does have it. Even though he got knocked out by Ilya, he's not going to get knocked out by Mateusz Gamrot for all people. And he has way higher level submission grappling than Mateusz Gamrot has. Even if it got to rounds 4 and 5, Gamrot's going to eventually get gassed out and tap to anything. And Olivera will even get you in a fucking calf slicer and put you out. He doesn't care. He got a nasty ground game. And that's exactly what I wanted to see from Oliveira. Used his reach advantage well. Took the fight to where he loves it and ended up with a submission. A very good win for Bronx. And a very, very good win in Rio de Janeiro. A guy who finally gets a win in Brazil. A guy who's been fighting for this company forever and gets the win in his home country. What a way to come back into that win column after that knockout over Ilia Topuria. And now, that's all I got for you guys this week for the recap and breakdown. We are going to do the predictions and breakdowns now for next week's UFC Fight Night, which is Renier DeRitter versus Brendan Allen. I will see you guys in a little bit. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Make sure to drop a like and subscribe if you have not already. I'll see you guys all later. Peace.